Hi, I'm Daniel Smith, Outreach Program Manager for the Nutrient Pest Management Program, the Division of Extension at the University of Wisconsin-Madison.
Hi, Rodrigo Werle, Extension Weed Scientist at the University of Wisconsin-Madison.
Rodrigo, it's June 27th, corn's been sprayed, we're trying to spray some soybeans, we have some weeds out there. What are we thinking for controlling water hemp at this point?
Yeah, so for water hemp control then, what our research has shown that farmers that are on an Enlist E3 system, the best option there is have that Enlist 1 mixed with Liberty. So putting the two together, according to our research, is providing better foliar water hemp control than spraying either herbicide alone.
We're in that E3 system. We have grasses. What are we thinking about for grasses?
Excellent. So if we have grasses, if our grasses, our annual grass, our foxtails and so on, are still small, 3 inches or less, the Liberty that I just recommended in partnership with the Enlist 1 should take care of the grasses. Now, if those grasses have some size to them, then we got to either bring glyphosate or clatodim to the tank in order to control those grasses then.
And with the Liberty and Enlist combination, I'm going to have AMS. If I add Roundup, that works, but if I add the clatodim instead, what do I need to add to the tank?
Yeah, that's spot on then. So if you're using clatodim, if you're relying on your clatodim for that grass control, we must have COC in that tank. Clatodim works very well when you have COC. When you don't, not so much. Okay, and you brought up a very good point, because the growers are calling me right now and are asking, Rodrigo, should I use glyphosate or should I use clatodim for my grass control? Okay, so if we're just going after grasses, I would say let's go with glyphosate. Is there a better option? But if they also have volunteer corn, that's where that glyphosate won't take care of the volunteer corn, therefore you need clatodim. So if you have annual grasses, small annual grasses, and volunteer corn, I definitely bring that clatodim, with the caveat that you gotta put a higher rate of clatodim when mixing it with Enlist 1, because there's a known antagonism between Enlist 1 and clatodim on grass and volunteer corn control.
Yeah, really great point. We're at the Lancaster farm. We've done research here since 2018 on water hemp, a lot of Group 15 research. What do you think about adding a Group 15 at this stage?
Yeah, so that used to be our standard recommendation. Then every time your rig is traveling, just put more residual out there. Given that we're late June here, most of our crops are V4 or beyond, right? More advanced, okay? When we were scouting this field here, then that we're sitting by, that we just sprayed here for a large strip trial, did you see any water hemp germinating and emerging there?
No, we've had some really timely rains lately, activated our pre's, and we don't have any small water hemp out there. Any new germinating water hemp?
That's excellent. So we sprayed a really strong residual herbicide at the beginning of the season at planting, which is our recommendation. That herbicide, because we have plenty of moisture now, is still doing its job. People think all those herbicides are gone already. No, they're still there doing their job. We're not seeing new cohorts. What we have there are plants that are established. That's what we're trying to manage. So being late June, not having new cohorts of water hemp, my crop here with all this heat and moisture is gonna start taking off and close canopy pretty soon here, all right? So with all that together, what our research is saying at this point, adding a Group 15 to our foliar post application here usually will not result in better end of season water hemp control than not having the Group 15. So long story short, late June, crop is growing fast and we're not seeing new seedlings of water hemp. We do not see the value of adding Group 15 to the tank and spray them right now in your soybean systems.
Thanks, Rodrigo. I think there's a lot to think about at this time of year. Everything's quickly growing, so we want to make some timely applications here in the next few weeks on our post-emerge applications for soybeans. What's next? What should we be looking for later on in the summer? Anything to scout for?
Yeah, no, that's a really good question then. So as you said, things are moving fast. Pretty soon our soybeans are going to start flowering here, and that's the end of post-season. So I urge folks, if they haven't sprayed their fields out quite yet, go scout. and deploy a timely application. I know it's been challenging here with all the rain and wind. It's been challenging for us on the research side too, so we understand. So don't miss the window. When you have the right window here in the next couple of days or so, go out there, because that water hemp is growing fast now, and the beans will flower soon, meaning that's the end of label application for a lot of the important herbicides that we just discussed. And then as August comes, September comes, that's always a great time to go out there, go across your fields and take notes. How did your programs work? What were the main challenges? Because by doing so, we can better prepare for next year, especially knowing which fields we've had heavier pressure, we have a lot of escapes, helps us better prepare for the years to come then. So that's always the recommendation that we have for folks in August and September. And then you talked a lot about combine cleaning here, right? That season is coming up. What is your main recommendation for folks out there?
Yeah, so we're quickly approaching combining wheat. Early July through late July, we'll be combining wheat. If those fields are weedy, certainly clean the combine before we go into our corn and soybean crops. And then if we have a custom operator coming in, ask to have the combine cleaned. If we're doing some custom work, clean the combine before we go to those sites. Water hemp in particular really hides well in a combine, gets more so dispersed later out of the combine and planted for next season's trouble. So absolutely, right now we're wrapping up those posts, but there's still a lot of weed management considerations to think about for the future years coming up.
Excellent. Thank you, Dan.
For more information, we'll be going to the University of Wisconsin-Madison Extension resources that will be linked below the video. Thanks, Rodrigo.
Thank you, Dan.